Hey everybody, Stuart here, and we're back for some more Banished. So, I'm going to leave this running a bit while our laborers go and do their labor thing, kind of scoop stuff up and get these buildings built. So, anyway, I do have a goal for, well, I have twofold goals. First, I need to remember, I'm going to put, order the villagers, or not the laborers, to get out and collect some stone and also get this iron. Now, the main reason for that is as your forester goes and does work in this little radius, part of their job is to actually go and dig up any iron or stone in the area. They basically will clear the land so that they have more room for planting trees. The problem with that is if they're busy going and picking up all this stuff, then they're not busy harvesting lumber, and that's the main job we want them for. So I just threw some laborers after it, and the whole idea is then they'll take care of that, and our forester can focus just on log production. So I'm just just this is a thing to keep in mind when you're adding these forest nodes is you do want to go through and just clear out this space, clear out this area, so that it's just more efficient that way. Plus you get it's a convenient little bit of stone and iron that you can grab, so it is something to keep in mind. We also, let's see, working on our blacksmith. I might end up removing the storage cart. It's usually kind of a little convenient thing to have, except unfortunately with these hills we're kind of tight in our initial starting area. And I've been debating whether or not I want to put in a market around here. And if I do that, obviously the storage cart has to go to make room. I'm on the fence about it. Markets are definitely a useful thing to have. It's something we're going to need and want. But because, well, here, I'll show you right here. So you go to market, you pull it up, and you see that big radius around the market. Essentially what that is well, the market serves two per... Ooh. Okay, so, sorry. We'll get back to markets in a second, but this is important. You see how it's giving us a little symbol there? That means that you've reached the resource limit. Now, for now, that's okay. Basically, we have 200 food. And, we really need to get this built. I'm running out of tools, which is going to be bad. What? Maybe if we prioritize it, they can get on that. I hope. I really, really need that done. I'm surprised it's taking this long, actually. It looks like we're running out of logs, and just our laborers aren't digging up enough resources. So it's an issue. I probably should have kept this on pause. At least until we get up. See, we're running out of tools now. Running out of tools is a very bad situation. It's going to severely affect our ability to collect resources, like the speed at which workers can gather up materials, and it can spiral out of control very quickly. So that's a really bad situation. I should have done everything to avoid it. Obviously, we're gonna have to live with it though. I'm just gonna not assign. Well, I might assign one hunter. We are getting a little stretched when it comes to how many laborers and builders we have available. So it's something I've been. Yeah, this is gonna be bad. I don't think we're gonna starve to death, but it might mean like a decade of just nothing getting done, which is a shame. It's frustrating, but honestly, like. It's kind of difficult to avoid because there's so much you need to do right out the gate, and oftentimes I often don't get the blacksmith built quite on time, so it's kind of inconvenient, but oh well. I think we'll be fine. So anyway, you see here, materials not required. We need more lumber, basically. The other thing is, so what was that little arrow symbol I was talking about? Well, this thing had hit 200, and you see our limit is 200. Now, when that happens, it's kind of convenient because essentially you'll make as much as you need, and then this little guy here, the woodcutter, once you hit the limit, he'll stop cutting wood and he'll go and act like a laborer until you start dropping down below the limit again. So it's kind of a nice. It's nice that they automatically roll into continuing to be useful and continuing to keep up with the labor that needs to be done. So it's kind of a nice thing. Now markets. Let me pull them up real quick. Now you see that circle around the market. Essentially, what a market is it's like a central distribution center for your resources. So how does that work? You have these guys. If you look over here at vendor, the only job a vendor has is to go pick up goods from, say, stockpiles or these little storage barns and drag them to the market. It's a really nice way of specializing your labor and preventing, essentially, it'll keep, like, say here, this guy, right? You look at his inventory, he's got some fish and some food, but eventually he'll run out of fish and run out of potatoes. He's going to want to go get more food. When he does that, he's going to have to walk all the way down to, say, the storage here or here. Now, it doesn't seem like much of a walk, but it takes up time, and honestly, you want to avoid that situation. What the market does is, market. Anything within that circle, any houses, any blacksmiths, instead of having to walk to the original source, they won't have to walk out to stockpiles or the like to pick up goods. When they need something, they'll go to the market for it. So it's a great way to streamline your labor, and again, it's just a big time saver for your production guys. So market's definitely worth putting in, and you want them kind of centrally located near industries. You want them near, say, where a bunch of houses are going to go in, where you're going to have like your blacksmith, and all that. So they're definitely convenient buildings to have. The one issue is though, like there's not with these hills here, these darn hills. There's not much room that I could put it in, and I probably should have planned for that. I probably should have plopped down the market in a convenient area and then paused it and then built around it. That was my bad. Normally I remember to do that, but I got to talking about all the different like buildings and I just kind of forgot. So now we're stuck with making a somewhat painful decision because markets, they're expensive buildings, they're not easy to relocate. Once you put them down, it kind of determines how you build your whole town up. Either I put it here and I accept that the hill's going to be up here taking up room, and so it won't be completely ideal, or I don't know, I could maybe knock some stuff down and rebuild. I wish one little like hill part is preventing me from building, say, over here. Like ideally, I would have left a gap here so we could have a road going through, and we're finally building that blacksmith. That took a while. That's just because we were short on the logs and stone, but now that it's up, we should get the tools. It didn't get too crazy. Only 2 people don't have tools, so that's okay. We can survive for that, but you definitely want to watch that. You can get in situations where your blacksmiths have broken tools, and that is just, you're going to spiral out of control at that point, because the blacksmiths, because their tools are bad, they won't be able to make as much tools. And unfortunately, you can't like force the blacksmith to pick up a tool and carry it around first. He just kind of drops it off where it's convenient, and whoever happens to be next to it gets it. So it can really spiral out of control very quickly. So anyway, we're gonna kind of be stuck with a bad placement, I think, for this market, and that's just poor planning on my part. I should have been paying attention to it, but like you see, I'm also going to pause it because 62 stone's an awful lot, and I think we might need to put in a couple more houses. The way to tell is you look around, and if you see, like, say a 16-year-old, someone who's older than 10 years old, and they're looking around trying to, like, and they, they're still living with their parents, that's about the time. Yeah, see, we need a home so that, let's see, male, female. Those two should move into a house and start making more children. So we're going to need a home for them. And hopefully this blacksmith is producing enough tools to like fix this tool situation fast, because that can be a real problem. Looking here, we're going to need more houses anyway, so I'm just going to order a few. And these are for, basically there's going to be, eventually you'll have 4 gatherers and 4 hunters and 4 foresters, or 3. You can actually crank up the number of people at particular buildings to kind of overload. It's almost like overclocking a PC. Like, individually they'll be less efficient, but you'll get more resources out of it. So it might be worth doing. Now, it looks like we're out of logs and possibly out of iron too. Yeah, our iron's okay. The reason why we're running out of logs is we need more foresters, but unfortunately we've kind of filled out our labor pool, so it's getting a little tricky now to keep a steady stream coming in, and that's kind of a thing that you just hit at a certain point, especially with. I really wish I left the game. I might end up tearing down one of these houses or kind of reconsidering how this is set up, because, like, just have some caps and, that's frustrating. Yeah, shoot. Well, for now we have to leave them up because we need these homes, and we also, we need that blacksmith cranking out tools. It looks like we've caught up with the gap, but we definitely want to have a little stockpile, and 3 is not going to be enough. So, yeah, it's, where are we lacking here? Logs. Logs is just the one thing we need and the one thing we're not getting enough of. So, hopefully, as these foresters down here get to work, that will be less and less of an issue. Eventually, I want to have like 2 or 3 forester nodes, and that should help out with the whole situation. Unfortunately, gosh, I'm a little flustered that normally I plan a little bit better. I guess I got to talking and got distracted, but like I would have left a gap here so we could conveniently have a road going over here to another node. Or just put this on the other side. Gosh, I might have to just have it going down this way, which is okay, but I don't know. I get kind of particular about some of these things, so it's just like I get a little little OCD about it. But we'll just have to learn to live with it. So in this tiny little gap here, I don't believe we can fit a house. No, there's really only one building, at least in the base game, that will fit there. It's under town services. And it's the well. Now, what does a well do? Well, the well, it basically, occasionally, you will get fires. And normally, what your villagers will do is, like, the laborers will run to the nearest stream, grab a little bucket of water, and then run to the fire. Now, if you're further inland, like say, actually even up here, that's still a bit of a run. If you're further inland, though, they can actually go get water from the well, and it saves time, and it can often save you from having this massive fire break out. So normally you don't need too many wells. You only really want them if you're building, say, like way away from any rivers or streams. But we're going for an achievement that involves putting in a ton of wells, so we might as well. God, we we're going to go ahead and put some in. That way it'll get us closer to the achievement, and it's convenient because it fills up this little kind of gap that we need to fill. Now, another building that we need to put in, and this time I'm going to remember to put like a little gap for a road. It's not going to be ideal. I think we'll have a road going down this way and over, which means that people need to get here. They have to go all the way up, and I'm going to have to tear this down. I really am. Because if they have to do this walk all the way over here to like go around and say, because I'm going to have a trading post in here eventually, and if the traders have to do that long walk around these buildings, it really will cut into the efficiency. Plus, honestly, it doesn't look all that great. So, I will have to tear these down. I'll wait till we have a good supply, though, of building materials and tools going on before jumping into that idea. One thing about, though, I will go and remove this structure. We don't really need it, and now that we have other stockpiles, I can go and grab it and move it. So, the market, it's not ideal placement, honestly. I'm half tempted to redo almost all of this, but what are we at? 24 tools. Yeah, I think I will actually. And it seems silly, like, oh, it's not that far out of the way, but it actually, you'd be very surprised, like, how even just having to walk just over that direction, like, even that little bit is going to be an issue. So, yeah, I need to redo these. So, I guess we're going to jump into, like, kind of rebuilding some stuff. I know it's kind of early in the game to be concerned about that, but it really will add up pretty quickly. The other thing is we need to get more stone and more iron as well. So right now you see our blacksmith, he's got the little question mark there. He's kind of confused. Like, I have no place to work. Like, what am I? He's decided to act as a laborer. Now, if you want to figure out how your laborers are walking, like how they're getting to particular areas, which can be it can definitely be useful in some cases. A nice quick and dirty way to figure it out is to just assign all your laborers to a job that has no building. So let's say I have no physicians. I can assign all my laborers to physicians. They'll get that little question mark above their head, and then you can watch them and kind of figure out exactly what they're on about and what they're up to. You know, while I'm tearing buildings down, I'm just going to go on and do that as well. Yeah, I apologize. It's just kind of an inconvenient placement, and I should have been thinking long term, but this way we'll have a nice road stretching this way, going to our second forest node, and there won't be... really, like, honestly, that tiny extra little bit that they would have to walk in order to cut over this way, it adds up. It's surprising, but it really does have an effect. So I think reorganizing this a bit right now, it makes sense. It's something we ought to be pursuing, because otherwise it's going to... it's just down the road going to cost us every little bit that we can improve, like the less walking that people have to do, just the better off we'll be. So yeah, it's I kind of feel silly having to do that, but at the same time I think it's gonna be okay. I think we'll survive it, especially now that we have extra homes built. What is holding these back? Logs? Jeez. I might... Yeah, I'm just going to order our laborers to cut down a whole bunch of trees. Because the fact that these buildings aren't getting built for lack of trees is pretty silly. I'm also going to put in a little stockpile there. Maybe, like, right up in here. Not much. Maybe a tiny one here, too. And that way they'll be able to drop them off the stockpile and go back to harvesting. Those are very tiny stockpiles, but it has to happen, you know. See, so he's got some storage. Yeah, they're basically what they're doing is they're going through and clearing out any kind of tools or any kind of like firewood or whatever that was in the house. It'll take the labor. For some reason, laborers just they can be slow about some things. Oh, you know what else it is? The laborers they're going in the order of what I told them to do. So the first priority for them is going to be clearing out all this iron. Then they'll get to cleaning out these homes. And then they'll get to cutting down the trees. I think that's okay, but I will crank up the speed a bit. I'd also really like it if we could get more logs, because, I mean, we don't have any homeless right now, but we have people piled up on top of each other, and it's going to affect how many kids we're having. And since we did have that hard start and we had less people initially, yeah, I guess we're okay, but I would like to get more going fairly soon. So, yeah, just gonna let it run a bit, and eventually they'll finish. That's the thing, like, you want to be careful about, say, clicking and dragging and telling them to clear out a large area, because it'll clog up the pipe, so to speak. All these laborers are going to be occupied for quite some time chopping this stuff down. So, oh good, we got another home built. And this is kind of what I want to see. One or two people per house, or one or two adults per house. So, I think we're in a good position on housing, at least for the short term. It looks like they cut down the hunter, so now we can build our road out this way, and we'll place another forester. Like, let's pin this real quick just so we can get an idea. We want to put them actually like kind of further down this way, but let's also put back in a hunting lodge, but we'll kind of, oh dear. Let's try to get lined up like how it was. I meant to hit R. If you hit R, it rotates the building, so it's pretty easy to look up the hotkeys, but it's just something to keep in mind. So we'll just put it in that way. It should be fine. And we might even clear out, just to even things up a bit. We'll leave a little bit of road there, but we'll clear out a tiny bit of it. And this way, you know, we have a nice extra place to put in another forester lodge. So we might as well get working on that. Right now, we actually, good, we have some more laborers, which is nice. I'm going to pause it real quick because I don't want them to get you know, just too occupied while I plan this. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do right here is, let's go ahead and, you know, obviously you want the Forester Lodge. Now, it's okay if they overlap a little bit. I don't want to push too far over because then we lose a lot to the mountains. And honestly, a Forester Lodge can't quite cover their whole radius at any given moment. So it's okay with a little bit of overlap. I think that's going to be pretty good right there. So we'll go ahead and extend this. Just extend this out a bit. And for now, I'm going to pause it. We don't especially need it. And we can also close that. We don't need this right away. It's just for future planning. So we understand what's going on with where we're going to put that. So another thing I'm looking at, you see here the health of the citizens has kind of dropped. It's time for us to put in yet another building. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting it's called the Herbalist, and I wouldn't recommend putting it at every single Forester Lodge, but you definitely want to put them like a good rule of thumb is an Herbalist for like every other kind of Forester node. They don't really, like, their radius, I don't think it matters that much. Honestly, I've had them very close to town before like that, and they still seem to produce a pretty good amount of everything. Just to kind of like, I might actually put it here. Yeah, and they're kind of a tricky thing to place. Now, there's two things herbalists do. They go out in the woods and they gather up some herbs, sure. But you also want them kind of near where civilization is, because when people get ill, when they don't feel all that great, they're gonna want to walk to the herbalist and get treated. You can treat the herbalist as almost like a doctor. So since the radius of the herbalist, you definitely do want some forest around them. Like you'll produce more herbs if you put it here, but it's more convenient for citizens to go and visit it if it's over here. So you kind of sort of want to be somewhere in between the two extremes. Like, give it enough territory that it will be able to get herbs, but you don't absolutely have to like focus only on the herbs. Sometimes placing it near the town is the way to go, because you'll end up getting, maybe if I put, yeah, that's pretty good. It loses a little bit to the river, but not too much. And it's kind of close to the storage too. I think I'm gonna go for that. But yeah. Basically the herbalists, you think of them kind of like they're like a clinic or whatever. It's basically if people feel sick or if they want to boost their health, they'll go to the herbalist and they'll eat some magic plants and they'll be okay. So that's like the whole point of the herbalist. Now, let's see. Eventually this will have two. Let's see, so 2. We can crank this up to 4. This to 4, so 8. And then with the hunting lodge, I might leave that at 3. I think you can crank it up to 4 as well. So you need like 8 houses, I think, to accommodate all that. So we got 1, 2. We're halfway there. I'm gonna add a couple more homes, just in this immediate vicinity, and it'll help us grow our population even more. So, like, we'll put 2 here. 1 can be for the hunters, and 1 can be for the gatherers. And I think maybe 6 should be enough, because if you think about it, 2 of these equals 4. So 2 for the gatherer, 2 for the hunter. 1 for the herbalist and 1 for the forester. Maybe 1 more. Maybe just 1 more should be enough. Yeah, like I said, you really want to limit like the buildings you put in these things, but you do want to have enough houses for everybody working there. So I think that'll be okay. I'm actually gonna pause this. Well, let's not pause it. Looking at it now, our health is pretty low. So we definitely want that going a bit. And it looks like these guys are doing their job. They're gathering up. That'll be good, because we need that for building. So, and more and more laborers are coming of age. So it should help speed things along. Now we're basically done with this node, but looking here, that's a good area for fishing. And I'm really tempted to put one in, because if you look at, you can go here, and this will show that's how much food these guys can build when they're in a good location over any given year. And 1,000 something food is actually pretty high. Like most farms only make like 600 to 800. So it's not efficient when it comes to the amount of people that have to work it. Like we have 3 people there to get that amount. It's not nearly as efficient, but it takes up far less space compared to that's a bad death right there. It's really bad, because you lose both the child and the mother when you have a child, when they die during childbirth. So you want to see very few of those, and that might have, I'm not sure what triggers that. I don't know if it's just a random event, or if it might have something to do with the health of citizens. I suspect that the health does dictate whether you get, deaths through childbirth. So, I have an inkling that our health needs to be improved to avoid those. But, I mean, even with, like, 5 hearts and like, exceedingly high health, you still see those occasionally. So, there might be, like, a bare minimum that can occur, but the frequency goes up depending on the state of your citizen's health. I'm not sure. I'm actually honestly not sure exactly what health affects. I know it does have it influences like the spread of diseases, but beyond that, I'm not quite sure. and I have really no idea about what happiness does. I think it affects your worker efficiency. So happy workers are more productive workers. I need to look it up. I really don't know for sure, but anywho, it's just something to keep in mind. So I'm thinking for now, yeah, let's go ahead and put in another little fishing node just down here. It takes up some space, and oh, we should probably get an herbalist going as well. Just one. And the other handy thing about herbs is you don't use a huge amount of them. So if you start building a stockpile, they're useful for trading. But we're not going to be trading for quite some time, so don't be too worried about that. So let's go ahead and plan out this fishing. Another little fishing village. So we want to line up our dock. Something like, I don't know, that seems to be getting the most water within that circle. So let's go ahead and put that in. Put the storage barn right behind it. And I might do, well, I might just do it like that. Maybe have it curve around a bit. And then we need 2 homes, and we'll, oh, are they gonna fit? They will if I put them there. So, well, I'll put one there, and actually, let's cancel that. Yeah, well, let me get the road lined up, and often you do want to kind of play with the roads a bit, get them kind of in a satisfying position, because it definitely influences the efficiency of your workers. So I think that's good. And then kind of just an extra little bit around the storage, so they have just extra access. So let's see. Yeah, our log situation is still not good. I'm going to crank up the foresters. Hopefully they'll get to, you know, harvesting more trees. It's also because we've been building so much is really the issue. So although we do have some logs here, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, it's like, oh, the logs are kind of far away, and it slows things down a bit. But really what I should do, now that they've cleared out that area, is demolish these buildings, so all the resources will get picked up and dropped off at a more convenient stockpile. Which is, as you can see now, they're off and about. Now, our tools, we do need to repair that blacksmith, and I'll be getting to it fairly soon. I just want to get these houses built, so we can stop worrying about. I really hope it'll fit. Yeah, that'll work. And you just need 2. So that should be good. That should add even more food to the mix. And we're not losing too much of an area around our. We're barely losing any at all. So I think that was a good call. Now, let's see. There's a couple of buildings we need to put in. I'm going to pause it because I want to talk about these, and you know, like, plan this out really well, and just have like a good central market. And actually, I lied. Let's remove this bit of road here first, and maybe even that bit, and I'll just have it going at like 1 speed, or 2 or 1 or something while I chat. So basically, we need to rebuild our blacksmith. We had like we already bumped into one issue with tools, and we don't want that to happen again. So we need to put in our blacksmith, and I'd also like to build. I think, you know, I'm not sure about this actually, and I'm gonna look it up. I'll be back in a moment.